Welcome back to Vuln Vibes, everybody. You know we like to go deep, and today we're going deep on a Cisco Webex vulnerability. But like we always say, this isn't about just the headlines, right? We're going beyond that for you, especially for our listeners who live and breathe IT security. You all know what's up. You understand MITRE, ATT, and CK. You know the kill chain. You see 0 days all the time. So we're going to focus on the trends. And we're going to be looking at how this vulnerability, specifically in Cisco Webex for BroadWorks, can expose user credentials.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head there. This one is a bit of a sneaky one, you know what I mean? It's all about those insecure configurations. And it's not always in those high-profile systems, you know? It's like leaving a side door unlocked. You might think your main defenses are rock solid, but it's those small things, man. Those small things can really trip you up.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're talking Cisco WebEx for BroadWorks, release 45.2, specifically running on Windows. What's the issue here? What's at the heart of this thing?
Think of it like this. Sensitive info, right? But it's visible, like right out in the open, in SIP headers. And this is when you've got that unsecured transport configured. Those headers, it's like they're digital envelopes, right? Carrying your VOTIS data during a call. But if that envelope isn't sealed tight, anyone snooping around can see right through it, you know? That includes your credentials.
And you know what makes this even more concerning? Cisco themselves have confirmed all this in their own security advisory. So they're not taking this lightly. What could happen if an attacker exploits this vulnerability? What's the worst case scenario here?
Worst case, well, picture this. Attacker just hanging out, listening to network traffic, all of a sudden, bam, they snag user data, logins, the whole 9 yards, right from those unencrypted SIP headers I was talking about. And here's the kicker. It's not just some outside attacker. This vulnerability could even expose the credentials of authenticated users, just sitting there, plain text in logs.
So you're talking about a double whammy, not only unauthorized access, but potentially full-on impersonation. Not good. But Cisco, they've got this under control, right? What are they doing about it?
They've got a configuration change out there, and they're really pushing for users to restart that WebEx application, you know, to make sure that update is implemented. Yeah, it sounds like a simple fix, but it's a good reminder, you know? You got to keep those systems up to date. Patching, it's not just for those big, scary vulnerabilities. It's got to be part of your everyday security routine. Just like brushing your teeth, man. Nobody loves doing it, but it prevents some nasty stuff down the line.
It's all about those good habits. Now, they're also recommending credential rotation. Is that really necessary? Doesn't that get to be kind of a pain, especially for larger organizations?
Sure, it adds another layer of work, but it's a smart move, especially with something like this. Think of it like changing your locks even when you're not sure someone's got a copy of your key. You're limiting the damage, cutting down that window of opportunity for an attacker, even if they do manage to get a hold of some credentials.
Right, it's like damage control. Now, I know this has been classified as a low-severity vulnerability, but the potential fallout from credential theft, we're talking impersonation, that can have some major repercussions.
You got it. And that's why this is such a big deal. It's a wake-up call. We need to be thinking proactively about security. We can't wait for the attack to happen, you know. This whole vulnerability, it's a textbook example of why securing those communication channels using secure transport for SIP, for example, should just be standard operating procedure.
It's like investing in a good security system for your house instead of just calling the cops after someone's already broken in. What are your final thoughts? I mean, we've covered the vulnerability, the impact, how Cisco's responding, but what do you want our listeners to really walk away with?
This is a reminder to look at the big picture. You need a holistic approach to security. Patching regularly, secure configurations, credential hygiene, these are the fundamentals. But even those little vulnerabilities, the ones that don't make the headlines, they can still have a huge impact, especially these days with the attacks getting more and more sophisticated.
Excellent advice. And for our listeners out there, here's something to think about. If something like this can happen because of an insecure configuration, are we missing the basics? Are we overlooking basic security hygiene, especially in environments where legacy systems are still in the mix? Let us know your thoughts. And until next time, stay vigilant out there.